December 22, 2012 marked another historic milestone, particularly for women in the Virgin Islands, when government recognized the significant contribution made toward the development of the territory by former political activist, educator, trailblazer, prominent community leader, and sports enthusiast, the late Mrs. Millicent Mercer, by dedicating the Baugher'S Bay field in his honor. Sean Rose reports.
When the names of prominent women here in the Virgin Islands are mentioned, more often than not, they include nurses Mary Davies and Adina Donovan, and educators Enid Scatliff and Millicent Mercer. Saturday's dedication ceremony to rename the Baugher'S Bay field in honor of the late Mrs. Millicent Mercer of Baugher'S Bay, who passed away on January 16, 1981, was by all means more than a formality. Mrs. Millie, as she was affectionately called, arguably paved the way for women to aspire to political office in the Virgin Islands. Speaking at the renaming ceremony, Premier Dr. Orlando Smith described the territory's first woman in politics as an outstanding contributor and popular figure in the community.
Although she was not successful in securing a seat, she was victorious in setting the stage and paving the way for other women, including the late Miss Ethelyn Smith, Miss Irene Penn-O'Neill, Miss Eileen Parsons, Honorable Lewis Christopher, and Honorable Madeira Keynes. Of all the hats she wore, many would remember that Mrs. Mercer was a lover of sports, whether it was softball, horse racing, or cricket. Her ability to form the Blue Wings and remain loyal to the team's direction until her time of death tells us her commitment to sports was unwavering.
Former legislator Mrs. Eileen Parsons said the move to honor Mrs. Mercer was long overdue. Tasked with the duty to offer reflections on the stalwart lady, Parsons, known for her own valiant character, said Millicent Mercer's contribution to the sporting life of the territory was tremendous.
Miss Millie encouraged her children to participate in the sporting life of their community and the country. In the early 50s, before softball was king, a group of us formed an all-girls cricket team in Road Town. Yes, Mr. Shirley, I got bowled out for 18 runs. Miss Millie encouraged her daughters and other young women from this village to form an all-girls team.
Today, the Virgin Islands could be regarded as a haven of political tranquility with a political culture that is, by and large, less combative. However, Parsons recalled the fiery gender bias campaign that engulfed the 1971 elections when Millicent Mercer became the first woman in the territory to challenge the male-dominated status quo.
All hell broke loose. Who dared her, Miss Millie, this woman, to come run against me in my district? She ain't know who she playing with. That is how the male representative felt. I was living in St. Thomas, but even down there, we heard that the 1971 campaign was the lowest, the nastiest, the most despicable campaign that was ever conducted in this country. That campaign so frightened women who did not want to be dragged through the political mud that it would be 12 years, 1983, before another two women would have the courage to face up to the councilmen contestants.
6th District Representative Honorable Madeira Keynes expressed gratitude to the late Mrs. Mercer for paving the way for other women to enter the political arena here in the territory.
And I am so grateful and thankful for her, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today as your representative. You know, she paved that way, and you know, regardless of what the people said, I said I am going to do this and I am going to win this. So I thank Millicent Mercer very much for paving this way for Mrs. Parsons and the rest of us, and I do believe one day that the government will be filled with women.
Mrs. Mercer is survived by 12 of her 13 children, 42 grandchildren, 65 great-grandchildren, and 9 great-great-grandchildren. In an appreciative response, Mrs. Mercer Martin says, renaming the facility in honor of her mother matches the love she had for sports.
our mom and father together allowed both softball and cricket to be played on the grounds right now where the Aries Club and Vocational High School now is located. That's where we all grew up and everyone was welcome there to play.
Honorable Myron Walwyn also spoke about Mrs. Mercer's contribution to the community and called on the Recreation Trust to be good stewards of the facility.
While the field will be open to the public, we want to also ensure that its rehabilitation does not disturb the peace of its immediate community. The Trust will be ensuring, Deputy, that the lights are turned off at the appropriate hours, that the grounds are kept clean, and that Millicent Mercer Recreation Ground remains a jewel in the 6th District.
Deputy Chairperson of the Recreation Trust, Franca Pickering, who grew up in Baugher'S Bay, said Mrs. Mercer has left an indelible mark on that community. Charles Mercer, the eldest son of Mrs. Millicent Mercer, accepted a plaque from the Ministry of Education and Culture on behalf of the family and also took responsibility for unveiling the sign that reads the Millicent Mercer Recreation Grounds. JTV News, Sean Rose.